Welcome to Bedtime Stories with Lana, where we journey, we unwind, and we drift into dreams. Hello, I'm Jack. Welcome to our sanctuary of sleep, where stories cradle your soul into a deep, healing rest. Tonight, we'll weave a mystical tale: the Forest Keeper and the Moonlight Boy. As you listen, let your heart soften, your body unwind, and your mind wander alongside Elias, the boy of light, in a journey to peaceful slumber. Let's start by finding a cozy spot. If you're in bed, nestle into your blankets. Feel the softness wrapping around you like a gentle hug. Let your body sink into the mattress, fully supported. Your shoulders soften, your arms grow heavy, as if melting into the warmth of your bed. Every ounce of tension from the day is fading away, like dewdrops slipping off a leaf. Now, take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling the cool air fill you, and exhale slowly through your mouth, letting all worries drift away. Your chest rises gently, then releases. There's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Just be here, in this moment, every sound around you like a soft breeze, or your steady breath becomes part of this calm. Let your mind float like a leaf on a quiet stream. As you relax, picture yourself standing before a mystical forest. Moonlight glows softly, lighting your path. The scent of damp earth and pine fills the air. You're ready to step into a magical story. Let your mind drift along and sink into sleep. It was a quiet morning in a small village tucked beside a forest where sunlight never reached. Inside a cozy wooden cottage, Elias sat by the hearth, the soft glow of the fire casting a warm light across his face. The scent of pine wood from the walls filled the air, mingling with the faint chirping of birds in the garden outside. Elias, known as the Moonlit Boy, watched his hands shimmer with a gentle golden light, a gift that felt both magical and heavy. His sister Mara hummed softly as she kneaded dough for the day's bread, her voice a comforting melody. A knitted blanket draped over Elias's lap, its woolen threads soft against his skin, holding the warmth of countless mornings. The cottage felt like a haven, its walls whispering memories of laughter and shared stories. But beyond the window, the forest loomed, a shadowy expanse, where the air always carried a whisper of unease. Elias glanced at Mara, her smile bright as the morning. Yet a quiet worry stirred in his heart, for the forest held secrets, and today those secrets would call them both into its depth. Marla had left at dawn to gather herbs. Elias stood by the hearth, the orange glow of the fire flickering across the room. He clutched Mara's scarf, its faint scent of dried flowers, a tender reminder of her path. Outside, the garden whispered with a rustle of leaves, stirred by a restless breeze. Through the window, the forest was a wall of darkness, its shadows thick and unyielding. The villagers had begun to whisper. They spoke of the forest keeper, a guardian who protected the sacred moonflowers, and Mora plucked one in her search. The thought sent a shiver through Elias. He pressed the scarf closer, its softness grounding him. The fire's warmth still lingered in the air, a quiet comfort against the growing chill of the night. But the emptiness of the cottage felt heavier with each passing moment. Mara's laughter, her gentle touch. They were missing. Elias's glowing hands trembled slightly. He couldn't wait any longer. If Mara was lost in the forest, he would find her, no matter what secrets the darkness held. The night had grown late, the village cloaked in stillness. Elias stood at the threshold of the cottage, Mara's woven basket in his hands. His glowing palms cast a soft golden light, illuminating the dirt path beneath his feet. The air carried the faint scent of smoke from the hearth, a lingering trace of the home he was leaving behind. He glanced back at the cottage, its windows dark now, the warmth of the fire a distant memory. The hum of crickets filled the night, a quiet song that felt both comforting and lonely. Elias's heart beat with determination, but fear curled in his chest. He thought of Mara's promise, her voice so clear in his mind. "I'll be back soon." Her smile, her gentle touch, they were all he had left of her now. The coolness of the path seeped through his shoes, grounding him as he took his first steps. The forest waited ahead, its darkness a silent challenge. But Elias, the moonlit boy, held the basket tighter. His glowing hands seemed to whisper courage. He couldn't let Mara down. With a deep breath, he stepped forward, leaving the safety of the village and walking into the unknown embrace of the night. Elias stepped into the forest, the night growing colder around him. His glowing hands cast a gentle golden light, bathing the path in a soft, comforting glow. The scent of dry leaves drifted on the air, a familiar, earthy reminder of autumn days. The leaves rustled softly, their sound like a lullaby, whispered by the trees. Tall branches arched overhead, their shadows deep but not unkind. Elias's heart beat faster, the vastness of the forest pressing close. But then tiny fireflies appeared, their lights twinkling like little stars. They danced around him, their glow a tender reassurance. He thought of Mara, her voice singing a lullaby from their childhood. The memory wrapped around him like a warm blanket, The fireflies seemed to hum along, their presence a quiet comfort. Elias clutched Mara's basket, its woven strands grounding him. The night's air grew cooler, the forest embrace both daunting and gentle. He took a deep breath, focusing on the fireflies' light. They seemed to guide him, their glow a promise of hope. Elias felt a flicker of courage. He wasn't alone. With each step, the forest whispered its lullaby, and he walked deeper, holding on to the memory of Mara's song. A low, weary voice broke the stillness. Who dares enter my forest? Elias froze as the forest keeper stepped forward, a towering figure draped in moss and bark. The scent of wildflowers, faint and sweet, drifted through the air. A scent Mara often brought home. The keeper's cool breath brushed Elias's skin, a reminder of the forest's ancient chill. Your sister took a moonflower, he said, his tone heavy with sorrow. She must serve the forest forever. Elias's chest tightened. Mara trapped. The weight of the words slowed time, each second stretching long. But the glow from his hands pulsed warmly, a steady comfort. He thought of Mara's laughter, her hands braiding wildflowers into his hair. The memory gave him strength. Please, let me take her place, Elias whispered, his voice trembling but resolute. The fireflies hovered closer, their tiny lights a silent encouragement. The keeper's gaze softened, his red eyes flickering with something like regret. Elias stood firm, his glowing hands steady. The scent of wildflowers lingered, a quiet reminder of home. The forest seemed to sigh, its ancient heart listening. In that moment, Elias felt a spark of bravery. He would save Mara, no matter the cost. The forest keeper's gaze softened. Very well, he murmured. To free her, you must light the forest with your glow. The moonflowers, the heart of this forest, have wilted under a curse. Revive them with your light, and the forest will shine again. Elias' heart lifted. Mara emerged from the shadows, her face pale but gentle. He grasped her hand, her fingers cold but familiar. His glowing hands cast a soft golden light, its warmth spreading to her skin. Dry leaves crunched underfoot, their sound a quiet rhythm. The cool scent of night dew filled the air, fresh and calming. The keeper led them deeper, his steps slow and steady. Elias brushed against rough bark, its texture grounding him. The forest stretched endlessly, the night growing colder. But Mara's presence was a balm. She squeezed his hand, whispering, "You can do this." Her voice, soft and sure, wrapped around him like a hug. The fireflies followed, their tiny lights a gentle encouragement. The task felt daunting. Revive the moonflowers? How could he bring life to an entire forest? But Mara's belief in him steadied his heart. The path wound through ancient trees, the air heavy with dew. Elias' glowing hands flickered with determination. The warmth from his touch lingered in Mara's hand, a quiet promise. He would find a way for her, for home. The forest whispered its secrets, and Elias walked on, holding Mara close. The forest keeper guided Elias and Mara through the woods, the night air growing cooler as they ventured deeper. He had tasked Elias with lighting the forest by reviving the moonflowers, delicate blooms that held the forest's life. They reached a quiet clearing where the moonflowers lay wilted, their white petals, once glowing like tiny moons, now pale and drooping. The faint scent of dank wood drifted around them, a soft, earthy reminder of the forest's ancient heart. Tiny crickets chirped in the distance, their song a gentle hum in the stillness. Elias felt the night's chill deepen, a soft but steady cold brushing against his skin. He glanced at Mara, her tired eyes shining with quiet trust. Her presence felt like a warm shawl on a frosty evening. The keeper's voice rumbled softly. These flowers are the forest's light. Bring them back, but the forest may resist. Elias's glowing hands pulsed gently, their warmth a small comfort. He knelt beside a moonflower, its delicate petals trembling in his fingers. The task seemed so big, revive the forest's heart. Could he do it? The cricket's song seemed to echo his quiet doubt, but Mara's hand rested on his shoulder, her touch steadying him. Elias took a deep breath, his heart firm. He would try. For Mara, for the forest. The night stretched on, the clearing waiting, and Elias began, his light a small promise in the dark. Elias began his task, the night growing colder in the clearing. He gently lifted a wilted moonflower, its white petals soft and fragile, and placed it into Mara's basket. As he touched it, a golden light flowed from his hands, spreading like a warm dawn. The flower glowed softly, its petals unfurling, releasing a sweet honeyed scent that filled the air. Elias felt a flicker of hope, but the shadows around them deepened, the chill of the night seeping closer. The cricket's song grew softer, as if the forest was holding its breath. The quiet made Elias wonder, was he strong enough? His hands trembled, the glow flickering, doubt whispered in his heart. What if he couldn't save the forest? What if he failed Mara? Then the fireflies returned, their tiny lights glowing like small candles. They hovered around the basket, their warm glow pushing back the night's cold. The warmth from Elias's hands spread through his fingers, a quiet reminder of his own light. The fireflies seemed to whisper encouragement, their glow a gentle friend. Elias took a shaky breath, watching them dance. Their light felt like a promise. He touched another moonflower, its glow joining the first. The sweet scent grew stronger, a sign of life. The night's air felt colder, but the firefly's glow held him steady. Elias's fear lingered, but he kept going, one flower at a time. Mara knelt beside Elias, her presence a warm light in the chilly clearing. "You can do this, Elias. I believe in you," she whispered, her voice soft and warm, like a summer breeze. The fireflies drew closer, their lights glowing like tiny candles, casting a gentle warmth that eased the night's cold. Elias felt their glow on his skin, a tender comfort. He remembered a day long ago when Mara had taken him to a meadow. She'd picked wild grass, weaving it into a tiny crown for him, her laughter bright as the sun. "Your light can heal anything," she'd said. The memory wrapped around him, soothing his doubt. Nearby, a small stream trickled over smooth stones, its gentle murmur a calming song. The air carried the faint scent of wild grass, fresh and grounding, as if the forest was offering a moment of peace. Time seemed to slow, the stream's song weaving through Mara's words. Elias looked at the moonflower in his hand, its glow steady now, Mara's faith, the firefly's light, the stream's soft melody. They lifted the weight from his heart. He felt a spark of hope growing stronger. The shadows still lingered, but they felt softer. The fireflies danced around the basket, their candlelight glow a quiet cheer. Elias touched another flower, its petals blooming under his light. He smiled softly, his resolve renewed. With Mara by his side, he could do this. One gentle glow at a time. As Elias worked to revive the moonflowers, a gentle breeze swept through the clearing. The night growing cooler, the wind hummed softly, its sound like a fresh-away lullaby, carrying the fresh, cool touch of the night air. Elias stumbled, the golden light from his hands flickering as the breeze nudged him off the path. The forest seemed to shift, its shadows blending into unfamiliar shape. A quiet fear stirred in him. The vastness of the woods feeling so big. The night air felt cooler, a soft chill brushing his skin. Where was Mara? His heart quickened, but then more fireflies appeared, their tiny lights twinkling like shimmering grains. They gathered around him, their glow warm and steady, like a friend's soft smile. The faint scents of pine needles drifted on the breeze. A comforting reminder of home. Elias thought of Mara, her gentle voice telling him stories under a pine tree. The memory warmed him. The fireflies moved ahead, their lights forming a sparkling trail. Elias followed, his steps slow but sure. Their glow seemed to wrap around him, easing his fear. The wind softened its lullaby, guiding him back. The fireflies led him to the clearing where Mara waited. Elias's fear melted into relief. He wasn't alone. With the fireflies' light, he could find his way. One step at a time. The forest keeper's voice echoed softly. To fully revive the forest, you must find the hidden moonflower. It rests near a small, cool stream wrapped in shadow. Elias nodded, the night air growing sharper as he set off. He followed the fireflies, their tiny lights twinkling like shimmering grains. They led him through a winding path, where the faint sound of water reached his ears. A small stream appeared, its cool water trickling over smooth stones. Its gentle drip a soothing melody. Elias dipped his fingers into the stream, the coolness tingling his skin. Shadows loomed around him, the hidden moonflower out of sight. His heart beat faster, a quiet worry stirring. What if he couldn't find it? The night felt heavier, the stream's chill lingering. But the glow from his hands pulsed warmly, its golden light spreading like a soft flame. The warmth flowed through his fingers, a tender comfort. He thought of Mara, her laughter by a stream long ago, her hands splashing water on him. The memory steadied him. The fireflies darted ahead, their lights hovering over a cluster of rocks. Elias followed, his steps careful. The night air grew cooler, but his glowing hands lit the way. He reached the rocks, the fireflies circling a hidden spot. There, nestled in shadow, was the moonflower. Elias's worry eased into resolve. The firefly's light seemed to cheer him on. He could do this, one flower at a time. Elias knelt by the hidden moonflower, the largest he'd seen. Its petals were black as night, heavy with the curse's shadow. He touched it gently, his glowing hands casting a golden light that shimmered like a soft dawn. The warmth from his hands spread, a tender glow against the night. The flower began to shine, its darkness fading. As it bloomed, a faint image appeared, like wisps of smoke. It showed the forest keeper as a young hunter, his eyes sharp with greed. He'd ventured into the forest, seeking its treasures. But a forest spirit cursed him, binding him to the woods. The image flickered, revealing his loneliness, his regret. Elias felt a deep sadness, the keeper's sorrow echoing in his heart. The branches above creaked softly, their sound like a mournful melody, as if the forest was sharing its grief. Time seemed to slow, the weight of the past lingering. But the golden light from Elias's hands held steady, its warmth a quiet comfort. The fireflies hovered close, their glow a silent support. The moonflower glowed white, its beauty restored. Elias watched the image fade, understanding now the keeper wasn't a monster, but a man trapped by his mistakes. His curiosity turned to empathy. He wanted to help, not just the forest, but the keeper too. The night stretched on, the flowers light, a gentle hope. Elias felt the forest's story and knew he could change its ending. The forest keeper stepped closer, his towering figure softened by the moonflower's glow. "I thought this forest was just a place to hunt," he said, his voice low but gentle, like a breeze through the trees. "What I was wrong. My greed cursed me, binding me to these woods." The faint scent of dry moss drifted through the air, a quiet whisper of the forest's ancient story. "Only true trust can break the curse," he murmured. The fireflies hovered nearby, their lights twinkling like tiny stars falling softly to the earth, casting a warm glow over the clearing. Elias felt the rough earth beneath his feet, grounding him. He listened, his heart heavy with understanding. He saw the loneliness in the keeper's eyes, a burden carried for too long. The night grew stiller, the keeper's words settling like a gentle blanket. Elias thought of Mara's stories, tales of redemption whispered by the hearth. The memory warmed him. He felt a deep empathy. He wanted to help, to free the keeper from his past. "I'll trust you," he said softly, his voice steady. The fireflies glowed brighter, as if cheering him on. Elias's resolve deepened. He would break the curse. For the keepy, for the forest. The night held its breath, the clearing waiting. Elias knew what he had to do. One gentle step at a time. Elias turned to the forest keeper, his eyes shining with hope. "I trust you," he whispered. "Let my light help." He knelt before the largest moonflower, its white petals glowing softly under the starlit sky. Elias closed his eyes, focusing deeply. Time seemed to slow, the night air wrapping around him like a gentle embrace. A brilliant golden light flowed from his hands, radiant and warm, like a sunrise after a long, quiet night. The warmth spread through his body, a tender glow that eased the coolness of the evening. The fireflies circled around him, their lights twinkling like tiny stars falling to the earth, their glow softening the shadows. A rich scent of wildflowers bloomed in the clearing, deep and sweet, as if the forest was awakening with new life. A single leaf fell gently to the ground, its soft rustle a quiet promise. The keeper watched, his ancient eyes softening with emotion. For the first time in centuries, he felt a flicker of hope, his heart stirring. Elias's light grew brighter, its warmth spreading through the clearing like a warm hearth. The moonflower shimmered, its glow pulsing like a heartbeat, reflecting the golden light. The fireflies danced faster, their starlight lights a silent celebration. The scent of wildflowers grew stronger, a sign of change. Elias felt a surge of hope, his heart light as a feather. He could do this. The keeper's gaze held a quiet gratitude, his ancient heart moved by the boy's kindness. The night seemed to hold its breath. The forest, waiting, Elias touched the moonflower, his light a gentle gift. The clearing glowed, a new dawn whispering through the trees. The forest felt alive, and so did their hearts. Elias pressed his glowing hands against the largest moonflower, its petals trembling under his touch. A radiant golden light poured from his fingers, spreading like a warm wave through the clearing. Time seemed to slow, the light stretching outward, chasing away the shadows. The moonflowers bloomed all at once, their white petals unfurling, glowing like tiny moons. Some melted into shimmering droplets, sparkling like morning dew. For the first time, sunlight filtered through the canopy, its golden rays kissing the forest floor. Elias felt the warmth of the sunlight on his hands, a tender glow, the air filled with the gentle scent of blooming flowers, soft and comforting like a spring breeze. A nearby stream sang softly, its sound like a lullaby, soothing and calm. The coolness of the night faded, replaced by a tender warmth. Elias and Mara stood side by side, their eyes wide with wonder. The forest, once dim and quiet, now glowed with life. Mara's hand found Elias, her fingers squeezing his gently. "You did it," she whispered, her voice trembling with joy. Elias felt a rush of happiness, his heart soaring. The sunlight warmed their faces, a promise of new beginnings. The forest hummed with life, and they stood in its embrace, marveling at the magic they'd brought. As the forest glowed with new light, the forest keeper stood still. The moss and bark that had covered him for centuries began to crumble, falling to the ground like dry petals. Beneath, a man emerged. A hunter, his face weathered but kind, his eyes filled with regret. The sunlight bathed him in a gentle glow, its warmth spreading through the air. Elias felt the sunlight's warmth flow through his hands, a soft comfort. The air carried the fresh scent of young grass, a sign of renewal. The man looked at Elias, his voice soft with emotion. "You've taught me that trust can heal all things," he said, a tear glistening in his eye. "Thank you, Moonlit Boy." Elias felt a swell of pride, chest warm with the weight of what he'd done. The forest around them shimmered, the sunlight dancing through the branches. The man stretched his arms, feeling the sun's touch for the first time in ages. The warmth wrapped around them all, a quiet embrace. The sunlight grew warmer as the moss fell away, a sign of freedom. Elias glanced at Mara, her smile reflecting his own joy. The forest, once a place of shadows, now hummed with life. The man knelt before Elias, his gratitude a silent promise. The scent of young grass grew stronger. The forest was free, and so was the man who had once been its keeper. Mara turned to Elias, her eyes shining with gratitude. She wrapped her arms around him, her embrace warm and tight. "Your trust brought the light back," she whispered, her voice soft with love. Her radiant smile lit up the clearing, brighter than the sunlight. She pulled back, her hands on his shoulders. "I gather the herbs before. The village will be saved," she said, her words a quiet triumph. The faint scent of herbs drifted from her basket, a reminder of her courage. The former keeper stepped forward. "I'll protect this forest from now on," he promised, his voice steady. The sunlight glowed softly, Helios's golden light lingering in the air, a gentle reminder of his gift. The fireflies danced around them, their lights twinkling like shimmering grains, adding a warm glow to the moment. From the treetops, birds began to sing, their chirping song a joyful melody. The sunlight grew brighter as Mara held him, a sign of their shared victory. The forest felt alive, its warmth wrapping around them like a soft blanket. Elias felt a deep happiness, his heart full. Mara was free, the village would heal, and the forest was safe. He squeezed Mara's hand, their bond stronger than ever. The fireflies' glow seemed to celebrate with them. The birds' song echoed in that moment. They were home together, surrounded by light and love. The forest basked in the glow of the morning sun, its warmth spreading through every leaf. Moonflowers bloomed brightly, their white petals shimmering like tiny stars. Squirrels scampered along the branches, their tiny feet pattering softly, a gentle rhythm. Birds sang softly, their light notes a sweet melody. The forest felt alive, a quiet hum of life. Soon the villagers arrived, their faces bright with gratitude. They carried baskets of wildflowers and freshly baked bread, the warm, comforting scent of the loaves drifting through the air. Elias held a piece of bread, its warmth seeping into his hands, a tender comfort. "Thank you, Elias, Mara," they said, their voices a soft chorus. A small child, one Mara had once nursed back to health, ran forward. She wrapped her arms around Mara, her laughter like a melody. Then she turned to Elias, her small hands holding a single wildflower, its petals a soft yellow. "Thank you, brother," she whispered, her voice tiny but clear. Elias took the flower, his heart swelling with joy. The sunlight grew warmer as the villagers gathered, a sign of shared happiness. The villagers shared smiles and bread. The forest glowed with life. The squares chatter, blending with the bird's song. The scent of fresh bread filled the air, a promise of peace. Elias and Mara stood together, surrounded by love. The forest and the village were one, and happiness bloomed around them. Elias, Mara, and the former keeper, now a friend, sat beneath an old oak tree, its branches swaying gently in the breeze. The tree's leaves rustled softly, a comforting sound like a whispered lullaby. The warm scent of the earth rose around them, rounding and familiar. Elias pressed his hand to the ground, feeling its gentle warmth, a quiet connection. "I've spent centuries alone," the man said, his voice soft with memory. "But you brought light back, Elias. Thank you." His words carried a quiet gratitude. Elias smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. Mara rested her hand on his shoulder, her presence a steady comfort. The fireflies joined them, their lights glowing like tiny, shimmering sparks, casting a soft warmth over the group. The afternoon sun filtered through the leaves, dappling the ground with golden spark. A gentle breeze sighed softly through the branches, its touch light and soothing. The sunlight began to fade, the afternoon slipping into evening. Elias felt a deep sense of belonging. They shared stories, their laughter blending with the breeze. The man spoke of the forest's secrets, his eyes bright with newfound hope. Mara told tales of the village, her voice warm. The fireflies danced around them, their glow a quiet celebration. The scent of the earth wrapped around them, a reminder of the forest's embrace. Under the oak, they were friends, bound by light, trust, and the magic of the day. As the day drew to a close, the sun dipped low, painting the sky in soft pinks and golds. Elias and Mira sat beneath the oak tree, its branches casting long, gentle shadows. The former keeper stood nearby, gazing at the forest he'd vowed to protect. The sunset's glow bathed the clearing, its colours warm and soothing. Elias felt the last warmth of the sunset on his shoulders. A tender touch. A few birds sang softly, their gentle notes a quiet farewell to the day. A light breeze rustled through the leaves, the sound of soft rustle like a lullaby. The faint scent of dry leaves drifted in the air, warm and nostalgic. Elias leaned against the tree, Mara beside him, her hand resting in his. He thought of the journey, of how trust had brought light to the darkest places. Maybe, he wondered, trust was the truest magic of all. The thought settled in his heart, soft and comforting. He felt a deep peace, the forest's magic wrapping around him. The sunlight faded, the sky deepening into twilight. The breeze carried the day's warmth, a tender goodbye. The bird's song grew softer, the forest settling into a quiet calm. Elias closed his eyes, the rhythm of the breeze lulling him. The scent of dry leaves lingered, a final whisper of the day. The forest glowed with a gentle light, its beauty a quiet gift. Elias felt safe, loved and whole. The world was still, and as the twilight deepened, a gentle calm washed over all, ready for dreams.